The 6x6 posts are going up here in the future A-frame for Airbnb in beautifully picturesque Canyon Lake, Texas. The next big step is creating 4-ply beams. 4 pieces of 2x10s laminated together to make one extremely strong beam for this amazing house. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. You're gonna love the content because we're building this A-frame from the ground up and we're putting it on Airbnb, and you guys are gonna see the entire process. Now, here's the game plan for today. I have posts up. These are 6x6 pressure treated posts. Some are 8 feet, some are a little taller than that. The tallest one is up to 10 feet. Now, the game plan is to get as many of these posts up today and then come back over the next couple of days and put up the beams. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove this post plus the post base and then cut off the existing anchor bolt that's already in the concrete with my angle grinder. So the other reason I'm cutting off the old J-bolts is because they're actually out of place. Unfortunately, the bolts got out of place because the strings that I used to judge where the bolts should be placed weren't perfectly spot on like I thought that they were. But it's all good. I have an opportunity to make it right, and that's exactly what I'm doing here, because remember, only the best for my guests. So step 1 is to remove the old bolt with an angle grinder using a diamond cup wheel. Step 2 is to drill a new hole into the concrete with a rotary hammer drill. This is actually the rotary hammer drill from Bosch, and it's called a Bulldog, and it's super effective. Step 3 is to blow out all the dust from the concrete. I'm using a manual pump here, but you can use any type of extraction tool that you have. Step 4 is to get even more dust and debris out of the hole with the wire brush. You really want to be as thorough as you possibly can, because if you do not get all the dust out of the hole and you go to set your anchor bolt or your wedge bolt with anchor and epoxy and there's still dust in the hole, you are not going to get a solid connection, which means trouble. So be as thorough as you can here and try to get as much dust and debris out. Step 5 is to set your wedge bolt using anchor and epoxy, and the key here is to twist that bolt back and forth so that way the epoxy can adhere to the bolts and the concrete. And from there, I let the anchor and epoxy cure, and then I went back and officially set all the posts for the house. All right, you guys, I'm gonna tell you how to get a perfect cut on a 6x6 post with just your reciprocating battery powered saw. Okay, here's what you wanna do. So you wanna make a couple divot cuts, one here and one here. Start making a very, very soft cut. And once you do that, you can ride this line and then connect it down here. See, now my cuts are connected. You guys see that? Now that I have a line here, what I like to do is tilt the blade up this way and then cut downward. Let me show you. Boom, looks good. Look at that. No space, baby. That's how we do it. That echo is crazy. You can hear it throughout the whole valley. Okay. So in most pier and beam construction, it's really commonplace to use a 3-ply beam. However, because of the nominal size of the 6x6 post at the A-frame, that would leave about 1 to 1.5 inches of space between the post and the beam if we went with the 3-ply. So aesthetically, my wife and I were like, I don't know about that. So we opted for the 4-ply beam, and a 4-ply beam will make it a full 6 inches, so it's a lot cleaner of a look.
Dang, already out of nails, that was quick.
Plus, from a building perspective, the beam will be even stronger. So if you Google it, a 2x10x10 can hold about 144 pounds per linear foot. So that's roughly 5,000 pounds if you add up all 4 plies at a 10-foot span. And if you're wondering, that is enough weight to hold an adult Rhino or 2 Honda Civics. Just please do not bring either one of those things into the house and we're cool.
All right, here's what's next on the agenda. So I have these steel angle plates from Simpson Strong Tie. They're the Z-Max brand. I'm actually gonna install these between the post and the beam.
So the next thing here is the nail and screwing pattern. That sounds kind of funny to say. All right, so the first thing I did was screw the 2x10s together because it connects the pieces of wood together very well. And then from there, I actually nailed all the 2x10s together. Next, I used the TP37 tie plate, it's a 20 gauge, from Simpson Strong Tie to tie the beam together on the front and back side. And off camera, I finished installing all 20 screws that go into the tie plate. So right here, as I was setting all of the beams, I was very careful to check for crown, which is just fancy builder talk for seeing which way the board is bending and putting the bend upward so that the weight of the house will naturally make the bend straight over time.
Okay, so these back poles are over 10 feet tall. I myself am not tall enough just to get on my little ladder and raise boards up. So what I'm actually gonna do is put together something similar to a dead man that you see in drywall construction, where it's just really a big T that people make in order to lift up the 4x8 sheet of drywall. I'm gonna put together something similar out of just scrap wood. Let's go. I'm just elated, really. Like, we're getting so close to putting up the subfloor, and to me, after the subfloor, the A's go up, and then from there, it's like, gosh, like we have a structure up. I know there's still more things to do after that, but in my mind, I'm just like, gosh, like, God, you are so great, and I just appreciate every blessing. You know, I think we've gotten away from this idea of us constantly needing help to do something. Like you think about it, like there's so many stories out there that you hear people say, oh yeah, I inherited this house and actually my great granddad and my granddad built this house. Like, why have we gotten so far away from that as a society? Like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? So I think it's cool to be that great granddad for the future generation, for my wife and I's kids that, you know, Lord willing, we get to have in the future, like biologically or adopted. And, you know, I think it's important to possess some skills to be able to do this stuff. This is pretty simple. I mean, think about when people first got to America, they had to do this stuff themselves. There was no YouTube. There was no like, let me hit up Google to find a contractor. You did it yourself. You went to it was even more though. They had to go to the forest and cut down the wood and then build. I'm not doing that. I get to go to Home Depot and Lowe's and build, you know? So that's a blessing in itself. But I'm just thinking, like, we need more of this stuff. And I don't think it should be such a big deal when someone says, hey, I want to build a house by myself. Like, sure, maybe you won't do every single thing, but you can do a lot of this stuff yourself, really. Like, if you just Google it, you YouTube it, you read books about it, like what I've been doing, anything is possible.
So that's it. The pier and beam foundation to the A-frame here in beautiful Canyon Lake, Texas is officially completed. And just like that, we are one step closer to getting the A's up and really having a nice structure and eventually having guests. Guys, subscribe to the channel,
turn on the notification bell, and smash the like button because we have so much good content coming out for this A-frame build that you guys are absolutely gonna love. And as always, I can't wait until you're here. See you guys.